Hey everyone, I wanted to bring you through a quick little hip sequence to kind of um, open, I don't want to say open you up, but kind of lubricate the hip joint, and it might be feeling a little sore and stiff and maybe sticky. So let's get in there and kind of open it up a little bit. So the first thing I want you to do is I am sitting up on a blanket. Um, some of you might not need that, but I feel like it's in really good service to your lower back. It kind of gives it a little bit more space to expand and play with. So I also am using a strap today. You can use a belt or even a towel or a scarf. So just get creative and find something that works for you. We're going to start with the right foot out and the left foot bent. This is kind of a typical Janu Sirsasana pose that we're just going to kind of explore a little bit. So I am on the long side of my mat, so my body is facing the long edge. When we're moving, I'll be kind of cueing in that way. So with me facing this way, so if you're facing, the short edge of your mat, that's fine, but just know the cueing will be backwards for you. So right here, I just want to sit up nice and tall. I want to align my spine, so stacking. Especially checking in with the head, making sure your head isn't jutting forward or tucked way back, that it's right over the spine. And for some of you, this may feel like almost like you're going to tip backwards because we've been so kind of forward lately. So just find that nice tall spine where you're feeling really aligned. And then kind of just like shake the shoulders, loosen them up, right? And then kind of drop them down. And instead of kind of squeezing the shoulder blades together, I just want you to gently kind of bring the shoulder blades together. It's almost as if you have like a baby bird back there that you're just cradling in your shoulder blades. So nice, gentle. It should feel really kind of good and open for the chest area. Breathing here. We're going to take our right hand and grab our strap and bring it around the right foot. Now you might not need a strap to do this, but I'm just going to use the strap because I feel like it'll just help me. And I feel like it. One more thing before we kind of get into this. This leg, your bent knee, is externally rotated, right? So it's outward. So in order to balance that in our body, this leg needs to be internally rotating. So kind of feel that in your body. You can squeeze your shins toward the midline, and I know that kind of sounds weird because your shins are not like parallel, so you can hug them in or anything. But get the sensation of hugging in your shins, kind of squeezing the midline, isometrical stretch here. So just feel that, kind of feeling the balance. And then I want you to just start to lean down into this. So I could grab my foot at this point, but I think it's just easier to have the full grip with the strap. So as I'm here, I'm going to squeeze my inner thighs again and feel the twist coming in. So my left shoulder is opening towards the sky as I squeeze my shins together and open my heart. Good. Bringing that hip joint right back into its socket. Navel to spine, breathing. Maybe you take that left hand and you bring it up to behind the ear, really spiraling the chest open. Notice what's going on. If that's too intense, just take it down. You could even just open the arm, bringing it up. Good. Really start to bring that arm down and come on up. Whew. So what I'd love for you to do is take your left hand onto the earth below you, press into that front shin and lift up. Press the hips forward. Good. Open up that heart. Open up the front of the hips. Good. And take that right arm down so that it's facing now the back short edge of your mat. Kind of hop your left foot underneath your left knee, underneath the hip, and then slide that right foot forward. So sole of the foot is on the ground and just kind of lean back. Good. Breathing. Good. Inhale forward. Take that right knee and bring it behind the left knee, the bent knee, and then start to sit back. So coming into kind of a cow face pose. You can go pretty deep here, feeling a stretch in the left outer thigh. Good. Come on back forward. Take the knee from out behind the other knee and just sit back down. Going to the other side, right leg in, left leg is out. Sitting up nice and tall, grab hold of your strap. Place it around the left foot and then get really tall. Line up the spine. Good, and then just start to lean into this leg here. Good, hug your shins together. Feel yourself spiral open. Maybe your right arm comes up. Maybe the right arm comes behind the ear. Wherever you feel good about it. Keep squeezing those shins together in order to make that twist more accessible. Lower down. Undo the strap. Right hand comes to the ground. Come up onto that right shin. Lift the arm. Push those hips forward. The left hand comes down, so now you're facing the top edge of your mat on the short edge side. Right knee moves in line with the right hip. And slide that left foot forward. Gorgeous. Start to come back over the hips, over the heels, hips over heels. Feeling the stretch of the inner thigh. Good. And inhale, come back up to table. Take that left knee behind the right knee and sit back into your cow face pose. Keep breathing. Allow for the jaw to release here. Getting into the hips. Good, and then start to lift up, uncross the legs, and come back to your seated position. Take the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. Baddha Konasana. We're just here for a moment, nice and tall. And then start to come forward any amount. So as soon as your back starts to round, pause. And just breathe right into that space. Good, round the spine and let the head drop forward. Maybe your elbows can kind of push the knees down, the legs down a little bit, encouraging more external rotation of the thighs. So really getting into that hip joint here. Breathing. Release the jaw. Let the shoulders drop. Let's start to straighten out the back and come on up. We're going to take just your right foot and place it onto the floor. Let the left foot kind of just be tucked in still, just like this. And we're just going to switch. So we're just going to lift the feet in the air and switch. And then go the other way. So just keep doing this a couple more times. So engaging the abs. Now you can stay right here, just like we're doing, or you can add in a bit of a roll. So I'm just going to turn this way so you can see. So then roll back, and then you land on the left side. Roll back, switch the legs in the air. Good. And these can get a little bigger, so you can kind of come up onto the shin too, rocking and rolling the hips. So feeling into all the movement that's happening right here. This is also a really good just mobility movement. You know, we gotta learn how to get up from the ground, right? 2 more of these. Good. And we'll land right here. Come to tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, and remember the pointer fingers are 11s and your pinkies are almost kind of touching the sides of your mat, so you're giving yourself a nice good open chest here. Okay, so untuck the toes and take the left heel to the butt, pointing the toes, and then you're going to keep squeezing that as if there's like a tennis ball behind the back of your knee, and you're going to lift that leg into the air, lift the knee into the air. Good. Hold it here, and I want you to take the knee out and the foot in, so that this rotation is happening from your hip joint, and then go the opposite way. The foot comes out and the knee goes in. So you can come down onto the forearms here if you want to give your wrists a little break. Knee comes out, foot in. Knee in, foot comes out. Feel the rotation happening from your hip joint. Feel the lubrication going on right there. Good. Good work. Come back through center and bring that knee down. Come up onto the hands and take that same leg, that left foot, and bring it forward and through. Lift the left hand and then place it back down to find a lunge with the left foot forward. From here, we're going to take some circles. So as if your hips were a big like ladle in a stewing pot. That doesn't sound right. You know what I mean. You're stirring a huge pot of stew here. So just take your hips, you know, nice big circles, little circles, whatever your hips are feeling right now. This could be a little bit easier if you had blocks or toilet paper rolls or anything to bring your hands up. Go the other way, just to allow for some more space. Not needed, could be helpful. Good, so we're lubricating the hip joints here. Come back, bring the left hand inside of the foot and kind of heel toe that left foot out to the edge of your mat. We're kind of leaning our hips forward into this pose, lizard pose, kind of dropping into the front of the right hip, front of the right thigh. Untucking that right toe if it's still tucked. Feeling really strong in the shoulders, so not drooping down into them, but rather pushing the floor away. Take the weight into your right hand and maybe move the right hand out a little bit as you take your left hand up onto the middle of the left inner thigh. You can start to gently kind of push on that thigh, rolling your left foot to the outer edge, kind of dropping in. Good. Squeezing those inner thighs together, coming back to midline, right? Back to center. Placing the left hand down and then starting to heel toe that left foot all the way over to your right hand. And then dropping the knee down close to the left hand. Coming into pigeon pose. Scooch that right knee back a little bit. Now, you might need a blanket to put underneath your hip here. Your hips want to be square. So if you're way up here, then this is your pigeon. Okay? Then you can start to pull the heart forward. Pull, pull, pull as you come down, any amount. So if you need some padding under that hip, feel free. Throw a blanket under there. Come into your lazy pigeon. Dropping the head down, any amount. And resting and breathing here. Allowing for any release at any moment. Start to lift the head up and bring the hand under the shoulders. Slowly starting to come upright. Tucking that back toe under and taking your time. Take as many moves as you need to peel yourself off the floor and come up into downward facing dog. Just gonna pedal it out, feel it out. Give your hip anything it needs. Maybe it needs to be circled out a little bit. Feel the difference in the two hips. Come back down to tabletop. From here, take the right heel into the right butt. Toes are pointed, nice long spine. Belly in as you lift the knee. Take the knee out, foot in. And then switch knee in, foot out. Keep going. Moving from the hip. So this may take a little bit of practicing to make happen. We're so used to just allowing our kind of big muscles to move. And we really want to get into the intricate hip joint and make sure we're creating a nice healthy area for ourselves. Good. Drop the knee down and then bring that right foot forward and start to stir your pot. Choose a direction. You may notice that one side is easier to stir than the other. So you may notice some sticky spots that you are just figuring out are there. So be gentle, be forgiving. Just move towards movement and ease and grace. Go the other way. Good. Pause here. Back through center. Weight goes into the left hand. As you exhale, twisting at the waist, right hand comes up to the right thigh, the middle of the inner right thigh. And you can start to kind of press that thigh open, rolling onto the edge, outer edge of the right foot. Good. Hugging the midline, coming back. Heel toeing that right foot out a little bit to the edge of the mat and taking the right hand inside of the foot. Coming into our lizard pose, so leaning in to that front left psoas. So you might be able to come down onto your forearms, maybe just sinking in a little bit, bending the elbows is enough for you. Try to take what you need today, no more, no less. Don't try to be anything other than what you are right here in this moment. Soften the jaw, soften the face. And then start to just ease the hips back. Heel toe that right foot over to the left hand. Dropping the knee down towards the right hand. And again, finding our pigeon pose. So put any kind of blanket or support underneath that right hip if you need. Scooch the left hip back. And come down, reaching the heart forward as you lower into your pigeon. Resting on the tops of your hands if that's accessible to you. Slowly but surely settling in. Taking your time, using your breath. Slowly start to come up, bringing the hands under the shoulders. Tucking that back toe under, peeling our bodies off the floor into downward facing dog. Noticing how the hips feel now. Maybe taking some leg circles if that leg needs it. Good. Inhaling up on the balls of the feet. Exhaling, pressing the heels down. Inhaling up high on the balls of the feet. Exhale, press those heels down. Good. Knees come down to the floor. Tabletop position. I'm going to start to walk our hands towards the front of the mat, coming down to lay on our belly. Let me just move back a little bit here. So slowly moving the hands forward, letting the belly drop, coming down, and resting our right cheek on our hands. We're going to take our right knee, bend it towards the side. So if you're coming into frog, which is the cue here, you want to be all at 90-degree angles. So your knee is at a 90-degree angle and your ankle is at a 90-degree angle. That is frog. If that is too much, too deep for you, connect the sole of your foot to your leg and come into a tree pose. So finding what works for you and just breathing, releasing, feeling the belly press into the ground as you breathe, releasing the hip, releasing the jaw. Good, and then starting to stretch that right foot back and taking the left knee out to the side and either finding your frog pose, which is 90-degree angles, or connecting the sole of your foot to the inner thigh or the calf or the knee, wherever you're on the floor, so it doesn't really matter. And then taking your left cheek to your hands. Start to bring that foot back to meet your other foot. Bend the knees and just take the feet from side to side, gently windshield washing them. Good. Drop the tops of the feet down, kind of reach them to the wall behind you. And take your hands and bring them backwards, almost right about at your ribs here, so that you're at kind of 90-degree angle. We're coming into cobra. So pressing into the earth, sliding those shoulders back. Remember that cute baby bird, that baby owl? squeeze that, hold it there, don't kill it, just hold it and bring the heart forward. Grip the mat as if you're pulling yourself forward. Good, lower down. I want you to try that one more time. So some of you normally do this and your hands are here. So notice how much you're kind of jamming yourself up. Take the hands back a little bit. So you're at 90 degrees. Pull the mat from underneath you. Bring the heart forward, shoulders on your back, and reach through. Good. Press into the hands and come back to tabletop. All the way back, heels to hips, child's pose. Inhale, round through the back, so coming through like a cat pose. Dropping the hips and lifting the head. Exhale, lift the towel, so cow pose here, and reach it back towards the heels. Inhale, roll the spine like a cat, all the way up. Start to unfurl as your hips move towards the earth, heart lifts. Exhale, lift the tail, feel that cow pose as you reach the hips back. One more time, just like that. Inhale forward, round the spine. Drop the hips, open the heart. Exhale, lift the tail. Drop it back, child's pose. Let's come on to our backs. And take hold of our strap once again. Let's take our right knee in. Extend the left leg out if that's okay. If not, you can keep it bent and with the sole of the foot on the floor, but I definitely prefer it out straight. Right knee's bent. Take that strap around the ball of the right foot. Press it to the ceiling. Good. And then just kind of pull on that strap, plugging that hip right back in its joint. And then exhale, see if you can bring the foot a little bit closer to you. Taking the left hand onto the left hip bone, kind of encouraging it to stay down. As you slowly start to open the foot up to the right, as soon as your left hip starts to lift, you've gone too far, so you want to come back up. Breathing here. Start to bring the foot back through center. And without without the right hip lifting from the earth, start to bring it over to the left. So you're only going to go like an inch or two. This whole outer leg is going to start to maybe light up. If it's not lighting up, start to bring your foot a little bit closer to your face. If you're still like, take your right thumb and your right hip crease and kind of move that away in the opposite direction. That should really do it for you. We're going to take the foot back through center. A little bit closer if we can. And then start to bend that right knee and send it away to match your other one. You should, just from that short little exercise, you should feel quite a big difference in your hips. So let's bring the left leg in. Let's get that to match up. Wrap the strap around the left foot, the ball of the left foot, and then step to the ceiling. Right hand on the right hip. And let's exhale and see if we can move the foot a little bit closer to our face. Just nice and gently breathing into the sensation. There's no pain in this. There is, you just back off. You're going a little bit too deep. And let's open up that hip, open up that foot to the left. Remember, as soon as that right hip starts to lift off the floor, that's when we've kind of lost control, so to say. So I kind of bring it back in. Good, and then let's start to move that foot back towards center. Take the strap in the right hand, and we're going to start to move that foot towards the right. So just like an inch or two, just crossing the midline. That should be plenty. If you're not feeling it, move that foot closer to your face. And again, if you need a little bit more, left thumb in the left hip crease and kind of guide it away, guide it in the opposite direction. Good, come back through center. Maybe we've made a little space and we can move it towards our head a little bit more. And bend the knee and send it out. Oh, it should feel pretty good. All right, so if you'd like to take any final resting, any final poses before we melt on our mat in Shavasana, feel free. A nice bridge pose might feel really good, so if you wanted to take that, you could bend the knees, placing the feet on the floor, tucking the shoulder blades under, palms come down by your side, and just lifting the hips. And you can kind of take a couple of those. And then just finding your way down to Shavasana, extending the feet, lengthening the tailbone towards the heels. Palms face up or can be placed anywhere on the body. And take this time to release into the earth. Take this time to collect yourself and replenish yourself. Breathing into every cell of the body. Stay here as long as you'd like. Namaste.